I wanted to congratulate you. Number one, I understand that you will be appointed to the Armed Services Committee. Now, I say that really makes me feel good, Vicki. And I say that knowing, like, fabrications that I've heard on TV, several of them indicating you're anti-military, you're anti all of this kind of stuff, which this is a shame that any politician would bow to that kind of thing. In other words, to me, that's selling their soul to be what they are in our government. But I was so glad to hear the announcement about John Boehner saying you will be on the committee. So I want to congratulate you on that. And I want to say, and I think this, and I'm very convinced you're as red, white, and blue as I've discovered everything.
Thank you, Bob. I don't know, could you hear what he was saying? He was saying he was glad to hear that John Boehner has announced this week that if Republicans take the majority, he is going to help support securing me a seat on the House Armed Services Committee. That is something that I have asked for, been wanting, because it's very important to us. It's important to our district. And it's very important to me, too. My father served in the U.S. Army Reserves. He did his basic training at Fort Leonard Wood. So when I go down to Fort Leonard Wood, I have some good memories there and good thoughts about his time there. And you know, it is our military is very near and dear to our heart. You know, according to the Constitution, there's only a few things that Congress is supposed to do, and of course they're going way beyond that. But one thing is to provide for the common defense, and that is a priority of our country. That is what needs to happen. And it's sad that Ike Skelton is lying about and distorting my stellar support for the military. The 6 years I was in the Missouri House, I voted for millions of dollars of funds to go to pay for honor guards for our fallen soldiers. I voted for millions of dollars to go for training sites, National Guard scholarships and retention bonuses, all of those things. And the no vote that I cast that he is distorting is because it started off as a good bill in the Senate and it added some more good things in the House, but there was a terrible provision in there that would siphon off part of the money for veterans' homes and veterans' cemeteries to unrelated projects. The veterans in my district were livid. Now those funds were established when Missourians voted and approved gaming, casino gaming and riverboat gaming in the state. And remember, they sold that to Missourians saying the money's going to go to education and veterans. Well, 100% of that gaming fee, the fees, went to veterans' homes, veterans' cemeteries. In this bill, they're taking that money and putting it to other things. And so I voted no. And we were able to stop it that year. Unfortunately, the next year it passed. And as I talk to people on the Veterans Commission, as I talk to legislators, I talk to veterans today, they tell me that is still a thorn in their side. I visited the Missouri Veterans Home in Warrensburg a few weeks ago with Senator David Pierce and one of the other senators that supported me and endorsing me. And of course, Senator Delbert Scott is my treasurer. But anyway, with Senator Pierce, we toured that. It is a beautiful facility. Have any of you been there to the Missouri Veterans Home in Warrensburg? It is, if you didn't know, in Missouri, we have the crown jewels of veterans' homes. We're the envy of a lot of other states. But it broke my heart to find out that while there's many beds, I don't remember, I think it's around 1,500 beds there, there's like 1,350 veterans on the waiting list. Those are men and women who have fought for our country. They deserve the care. They've earned the care. They need the care. And they probably aren't going to get it. They told me that you can't even get on a waiting list until a doctor has deemed your health so serious that you need to go in that day. So it breaks my heart. And the reason is because they took away the funds from the veterans. They passed that bill. So please tell people that I was standing up for the veterans when I voted no on that bill because it had a part of it that was very bad for veterans. There's also things they're saying that I'm opposed to women in the military. I've never said that. I honor their service. A lot of the officers and the military men that I talk to tell me about the stellar leadership of the women in the military are providing a wonderful service, and they're sacrificing as well. I did vote against a bill for internet voting. It was a pilot project. They wanted to allow our soldiers to vote over the internet. The bill ended up not passing because the Democratic Secretary of State, Becky Cook, opposed it, as did most of the Democrats in the House and the Senate, because of concerns of voting irregularities and fraud. We're just not to a point yet, and certainly we're back in the 90s, where I feel confident having our soldiers overseas just touch screen or something and have their vote, make sure it's okay. You know, so maybe we'll get to that point someday, but it just wasn't a good idea. We're not ready yet. So that's why I voted that way. Thank you for asking. Very supportive of veterans. Thank you.
Could I make one more comment?
Wait, let's give somebody else a chance, and then it's back to you. Anybody else have a question? Yes, sir.
My name is Frank Johnson. I live in Vernon County. I believe that the problem in Washington is just not all the Democrats, but the biggest part of the Republicans. Vicky, could you convince me that you're going to be a new kind of Republican, a Tea Party Republican? And Greg, would you convince me that as a third party you can actually accomplish anything up there? Two-party system may not be great, but it's what we've got. And a lot of us feel like we're throwing away our vote on a third party. So if you'd each address those.
Sure. Yes. I understand that your concerns, and I have similar concerns with the Republicans. When they had the opportunity several years back, I feel like they blew it. They started spending just like the Democrats and started us down this road. Now the Democrats have gone, quadrupled the amount of debt that the Republicans did, but still is wrong. And I am very much believing that we have got to turn things around. And I'm going to say no. No to excess spending, no to running us into debt, mortgaging our children's future. And you have to have backbone to do that. You have to have the support of people at home, like you, who are saying, Vicki, we're going to support you. When I start saying no, then people start